Good afternoon, fellow aquarium scientists. Hope everybody is doing well. It has been a while, so excuse the abrupt live stream, but I'm going to give it a couple of moments for people to trickle in. Oh, there, Jeff. Thank you very much for stopping by. Happy to see you. We've got Dee Dee. Welcome, Dee Dee. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Thought I'd decide to come out of my very long hiatus just to let people know that I'm still here. Didi, are you referring to my beard? Because I've always had a beard. Well, it's not a beard, it's a goatee, but hopefully this scraggly goatee slash beard will kind of indicate how life has been recently. But yeah, things have been pretty hectic lately. We recently moved into a new house, which explains why the scenery is a little bit different. I'm actually live streaming from my room um, because I don't have a designated space yet for live streaming or video making or anything like that. So, which was one of the main reasons why I wasn't active on YouTube for a while. There were other reasons as well, both hobby related and not hobby related. But here we are. But do let me know if you guys can see me okay, hear me okay. If I can get an audio visual check, please. Hello there, Mexicali Fish Keepers. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you're doing all right. And thank you, Jeff, for the confirmation. Appreciate that. But yeah, just wanted to talk about a few things that have been going on. Some updates on stuff, Professor FishTanks related, Atlantic Aquariums related, um, things that have been going on with my personal tanks, or I should say tank, because I had to tear down some of my other tanks and just have the 110-gallon that you would normally see like behind me, the aquascape tank. That's the only one I have. It's actually right there in front of me in my room. And then the fluval beta tank, which is down in the dining room. And those are the only two tanks that I currently have. The plant rack that I had is currently empty. There's a few reasons for that. One of them being that the basement is currently not finished, so it's not insulated, it's not heated properly, and I don't want to put anything living down there until I've set up an environment that is good, because not only do I want to get in plants, but I also want to get in some livestock, which is whether it be corals or fish or inverts. Um, but yeah, there is a room down in the basement that could be a potential aquarium lab slash um, room for me to keep some of my livestock inventory. But it's unfinished, so I'm gonna have to wait until we get it all insulated and refurbished. And um, I've got some plans, but the first hurdle is convincing the rest of the household that I want that room, which isn't that easy. But But yeah, yes, it looks like you are streaming from an undisclosed location. Yeah, definitely. All you need is a palm plant to complete the hide from the logo. Is it a rental or a more permanent location? It's a permanent location. Yep. It's a new it's our house. So hopefully when I start doing things in the basement for the fish room, I can give a bit of a tour of that room, but not right now. But hopefully soon. But yeah, so been really busy with the move. Was not easy when you're moving from a place you've lived for almost 29 years. You know, it's not that easy, and there's a lot of stuff. There's still a lot of stuff that we still haven't brought um, from our old place yet. So, but slowly unpacking. But but yeah, so we moved in. Had to get a lot of the fish tanks were at the old place for a while, and then I finally um, convinced my lazy self to go over there and get the thing and get all the tanks drained, and the plant rack I had drained and cleaned out a while ago, just because I know that when it's time to move the rack, it'll make it a little easier, which it did. Actually, the rack was the first thing to come to the new place. Um, I only had two tanks that were running that had life in them, and so I kept them running for as long as I could at the old place. And then I was visiting with my mother, and my mom was like, my mother and my brother, and my mother was like, "Now's the best chance for you to get your stuff over there, to get the tanks over there." And so I started draining the 10-gallon and the fluval beta. Fluval beta obviously wasn't that hard to move. The 10-gallon was a pain in the butt to move. Um, and so got that done. Um, Currently, the 10-gallon is on a dresser stand. And so we had to bring that with us. My mother was like, "Why are you bringing this thing? It's old, it's heavy, it's not good." And I'm like, "Well, I need something to put the tank on because I don't have anything. My room isn't even furnished, and it isn't going to be furnished for a while." But and so obviously I also needed the dresser for my clothes, and so I was like, it's a no brainer why I wouldn't bring it with me, and so I did that. And so got the tank set up and everything. Everything is looking fine. There's quite a bit of spot algae on the glass, so it's making it look a bit greener than it should be. The one issue that I have is that it's in a corner, but um, I have the windows in my room are like concave, concave, and they have shades on them, but unfortunately the shade there's still sunlight that comes out, which is good because it illuminates the room, but the tank is getting some direct sunlight, and I think that's causing obviously it's causing I don't think it's causing a lot more algae to start growing on the tank. You never want direct sunlight to hit your tanks, um, and so that's a bit of an issue, but you know it is what it is. The main issue that I'm having with this tank is, and I admit it is my fault. Um, oh, hey Skipper, nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Um, so I went to so I recently got impulsively at an auction Spixie snails. And if you don't know what Spixie snails are, they're relatively small. Um, they look really cool, but they eat they are a plant eater. They do eat a lot of vegetation. And the moment I put them in my tank, they were all moving around. And then lo and behold, the next day I look at my tank and I see my crypts are pretty much half eaten. And so I'm like, yep, that's my fault because I've never kept Spixie snails before. And when I got them, I did a little bit of research on them, which you should never do, right? Do as I say, not as I do. And um, obviously, when I did research, learned that they do tend to go for a lot of the softer plants, things like that. And so that's what's been happening. So now I am in the process of removing them from my tanks, and they are most likely going to go back into auction because I do not want them. Um, I'm perfectly fine saying with Nerite snails. I don't know why I got them. It was an impulse buy, and regretting I did it. So there's that. So for now, they're in the tank. I mean, I really don't care if they go after the plants because the tank is just running as it is. I plan on redoing the tank anyway. Um, so I really don't care if they go after the crypts, but then again, I don't want them going after the crypts. I don't want to deal with anything that's going to damage my aquascape and things like that. So I'm going to remove him. So far, I can't even remember how many there were. I think there were like 4 or 5 snails. I can only see one scurrying around. It could be multiple, but I can only visually just see one. I can't see more than one at a time. But I'm gonna remove the next time I see one, I'm gonna remove it, and if I see others, I'll remove them as I see them. They are egg layers, and they do obviously breed in the water, but they do tend to be cannibalistic as well. So they will go after their own babies or eggs themselves, which is why people say if you're going to culture them, you want to grow the babies separately from the adults. Um, I don't tend to do that. So, um, and apparently it is illegal to transport them across state lines, from what I've heard. So they would have to be kept or sold or whatever within that same state, which I find interesting. Hello, Xanadu. Welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. Skipper is doing water changes. Good. Always do them water changes. Your fish will thank you. But yeah, so that's what's going on with that tank. Um, my hopes are that if I do end up getting that room in the basement, that'll allow me to. It's a pretty big room. It's not small either. That allow me to bring in some of the tanks that I currently have in storage, as well as the ability to set up my dream aquarium lab and keep species that I've always wanted to keep, both in the freshwater and saltwater section, as well as brackish water, obviously. But I've got some really cool plans, but it's going to take a while for those plans to come to fruition because I am broke. I have got no money. So, which is a segue to updates on the business side of things. If any of you have been, just taking a glance at the website, you'll notice that a lot of things are out of stock, especially on the plant side. Excuse me. I just have been struggling to keep things in inventory, and with a lot of the import and export situation that's going on, a lot of things are just not even coming in for me to buy anything, or the fact that pricing is just going really high. A lot of the plants are being affected with that, so you'll probably see pricing on a lot of the freshwater plants going up a little bit. it is unfortunate, but it is the way it is. Um, I currently have the Dennerley Rio Zingu gravel is currently back ordered. I have at least one person that ordered the gravel, and the wholesaler that I got it from doesn't have it in stock, and I've contacted. They're the only ones that I currently can find as a wholesaler that carries that gravel. And I contacted them to see if they can give me any idea as to when it'll be back in stock, and I haven't heard anything. So I don't know what's going on there. Um, if you follow Atlantic Aquarium social media, or if you are on the email list, you probably got an email on a stock list of pond lilies. So we are obviously in pond season. So I decided to, if anybody is interested, to share the current stock list of pond lilies that I can get in. It is a pre-order situation, and then around my goal was around the end of May to then get those lilies in and then get them shipped out. As of right now, it is very unlikely that is going to happen because nobody's contacted me for anything. So I doubt that's going to happen. And you normally want to get the lilies in around the beginning of pond season, so that way they have enough time to grow and then obviously blossom. Although all the lilies that are on that list are hardy, which means they can overwinter. Um, I personally still suggest bringing the lilies in during the winter to overwinter instead of just leaving them in your ponds, but they are hardy lilies, so they can tolerate a bit more colder weather and things like that. So usually around this time is the best time to start planting your pond with plants, really, both aquatic and semi-aquatic or terrestrial. So there's that. Um, but yeah, the store is going to be out of stock for a while. It is unfortunate. And that was one of the other reasons why I just haven't been really that active, is just dealing with that stuff. It does affect you um, emotionally and physically. It's physically draining and emotionally draining when you're seeing something that you've worked pretty hard and were pretty passionate about not getting to the point where you wanted to go to. And so um, and not getting the amount of support that you were hoping you would get um, from those around you, those that are close to you, things like that. And it does get to a point where you're like, should I really continue with this or should I not? Because it's just draining a lot of my money. It's draining a lot of my time. Um, so I had to step away and just figure all that stuff out. But you know, it's still active. The website is still active. Um, Atlantic Aquariums has signed up for the Keystone Clash. So if you're going to the Keystone Clash, which if any of the moderators are still here, if they can share the link to the Keystone Clash, that would be appreciated. But I'm going to be there at the Keystone Clash with Atlantic Aquariums. And hopefully around that time is when I'll, uh, save enough to get some stock inventory in to then bring to the Clash to sell. The Keystone Clash usually does okay for Atlantic Aquarium, so I always enjoy going to the Clash and can't wait to go this year. I think this year will be the fourth year. If Scotty was here, he would know, but I think it's the fourth year going to the Clash. Excuse me. But yeah, sorry, just keeping an eye on chat. But yeah, that's pretty much everything up to date at this point. Um, live streams are still going to be a little bit inconsistent. I'm going to try my best to get back into the world of YouTube. I am usually very active on Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram, I'm always posting stuff there. Um, or if you see me in person. But I'm gonna try to get back into live streaming or just being active on Facebook, on other not Facebook, on YouTube, on other live streams, and things like that. Saying hi, seeing how everybody's doing. But yeah, hopefully, hope everybody's Memorial Day weekend is going well. Their Sundays are going well. It is a nice day out today. It's not too hot, not too cold. It has been raining and storming for the past couple of days, though. But yeah. I did go to the Aquarium Club of Lancaster County. They had their meeting last Saturday. Yes, last Saturday. Dean, Master Breeder Dean from Dean's Fish Room was the guest speaker, and I've been a huge fan of Dean for a while now. And Scotty was like, "Dean's going to be coming, so you might want to request off work for that day," and I immediately did. And so I got to go, and he was actually talking about his fry system, his fry rack, and how to set it up and things like that, and things that he plans on upgrading to make it even more easier to build the system. And I don't have it with me here right now, otherwise I would show you. But my plan was when I went to the meeting, I wasn't planning on buying anything from the auction. Um, but Dean brought in, if you've ever watched his video on how he set up his fry rack, he has like two metal strips that he bends to hold the two pipes, the air line and the water that feeds water and air to the fry racks. And I knew that if I was to do this, that was going to be the main, excuse me, that was going to be the main thing that I was going to have issues with, because I don't really have a way to get that part of the system. And he brought in a 3D printed version of that metal frame. Apparently, somebody from the Aquarium Co-op forum, there's a 3D printed section in that forum, and this guy printed it out, made a 3D print of it, and it's actually available. I think the schematics for it is free on that page. Like, anybody that has a 3D printer can download the schematics and print it for themselves. Um, but the person gave a pair to Dean to bring to the club to donate, um, to donate to the auction. And when I found out that that was going to be available, I immediately got a bidder card. I was like, if there's one thing I'm going to get, I'm going to get that. And so, excuse me. And so I think that was the first thing that I think that was the first thing uh, that started the auction. And so the moment I saw that, because I was also a runner, but the moment that I saw that they were gonna start off with that, I just kept my bidder card up and just went. Didn't put it down, because I was like, I don't care how much I have to spend on that thing, but as long as I can get that, I can do everything else by myself. I can get all the stuff I need for everything else. Um, and so I got that. I also got some fish bags for uh, packing up plants for either bringing to auctions, or to um, um, or like if people order plants and it's like one or two, instead of using the big Tropica bags, I could just put them in those little smaller singular bags to ship them out. And I ran out of those fish bags, and so I got a pack of those as well. And I think that was the only. Oh, and then obviously the Spixie snails, which I regret now, but I got those 2 from the meeting, so and I got to say hi to a few, few friends and, uh, familiar faces, so that was nice too. It was about a 2-hour drive, a little less than 2 hours, but Um, but I took my car, put it onto cruise mode, and just didn't really have to do that much driving. So it was a nice ride, but it was definitely worth the drive to be able to meet Dean. I'm one of those people that if I'm meeting somebody who's like famous, I'll get really excited, and then when I finally become face to face, I completely just lose it, and I get shy. And you know, there were people coming up to Dean and having full blown discussions with him, and here I am, somebody that also wanted to have a full blown discussion, but not wanting to bother him either. um, like I wanted to take a picture with him and things like that, but I was like, it's okay. Maybe another time if I ever see him again. um, I did get to shake his hand and say hi and things like that. And I asked him one question about something related to the fire rack. But it was nice getting to see him in person and listen to his talk. He's a pretty great guy, pretty funny guy. So hello, Jody. Welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. Hope you're doing fine. And we've got Cosmin. How you doing, Cosmin? Hope you're doing well. You didn't really miss much, just me talking about why I was absent for so long and just some updates. Feel free to watch the replay later on, but it's nothing really that interesting. But yeah, that was my last couple of weekends. But yeah. Dee Dee's releasing some pond fish. What type of pond fish, Dee Dee, if you're still here? Very curious to know what kind of pond fish you're putting in. It is also tubbing season too. I'm actually going to try and see if I could do some summer tubbing too, because we have a sunroom and then there's a little a patio deck in front of the sunroom. So and it has plenty of room for me to like put some tubs on there to do some summer tubbing. But I might do that. We'll see. Still early in the season, I think. Just a question of what I would want to put in those tubs. Um, because I know for the sunroom, I actually want to get a what is it called? The Aquascape patio ponds. Hang on, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Because that was a big thing that when we were looking at houses and we were looking at this specific house and realized that we might actually go for this house, I immediately was like, um, yeah, no, I need to get that patio pond. Okay. Let me know if you guys can see the screen I'm sharing. So I'm going to go to the pond supply section. And scroll down. I always tell myself I have to change this color, but I always forget. So there's two types of patio ponds, but I like the round version one better. That's basically what it is. And you can actually put this on a did not mean for that to happen. Can't find it. But anyway, but yeah, this is what I actually wanna put in the sunroom, and you can put fish in here. They do offer, so you can put a little pump there for for the water to flow through. You can even put an internal filter.
Cool thing about the patio pond.
Sorry. You can put an internal filter in there. It comes in different colors too. I don't know which color I might get, but yeah, I don't see it. Hang on, let me see if I can pull up a picture of that. There it is. Oh no, that's for a different. Okay, that's for a different thing. So the stand that I'm talking about isn't for that particular patio pond. That one just sits on the ground, which is also fine to be, if I'm being honest. Um, what the patio pond, what the stand is for this. Hang on. Ooh, excuse me. It's for this. So the Aqua Garden mini pond kit. So you can actually see right here. So this is what I was talking about. So, which you can also put fish in here. So that's the stand. It comes separate from this, but it's almost like a aquaponics type of thing, or a bog wetland type of system. So basically, you have a planting media on the top of here. You put a lot of your plants in. You can put bamboo. You can put any other terrestrial plants that do well in, like, coming out of water, gravels, things like that. And on the bottom here, there's a light as well as a pump to pump water up into this area here. The plants will act as a filter, obviously, and then it just trickles down into the main bowl here. And you can put some fish in here. It's usually recommended to put like smaller species of fish. So you can put rice fish in here. You can put uh, what are they called? You can put some minnows in here. Danios, CBDs, any type of small fish that does well in a summer tubbing situation, you can definitely put in there. Guppies, things like that, they'll do fine in there. And so um, I'll probably either have this, or mainly what I want to put in the sunroom would be this patio pond here. I can also put this outside too, on the deck that I was referring to. Another thing that's interesting is that in the backyard there is actually a small pond. So the old owners actually had a small pond in the back, um, but it's been deserted. It hasn't been running for a while, and it's pretty small. But what I'm going to be doing is hiring a aquascape pond contractor and building a aquascape pond in the back. If you've ever seen their videos, I absolutely love their ponds and their products, and so which is the reason why I only carry aquascape stuff on the store. But that's one of my goals is to, and this is just not even a quarter of the stuff that they offer. This is actually a work in progress in terms of the stuff that's on this page. Um, excuse me. And if you also have a pond and you're getting ready to plant lilies, there's obviously the aquatic lily planter, and then the potting media is here as well. There's also nutrient tabs for pond lilies that they offer, which I don't have on the site currently, um, but I will at some point. But yeah, so I might have this inside in the sunroom and have that outside on the deck. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. But definitely at least one of them. These two I'm going to be um, doing, and so I might do put some small fish in there to as my summer tubbing maybe. We'll see. We've got Alishan. Welcome, Alishan. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for stopping by. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, Didi, I was asking earlier, what fish were you putting in your pond? Because you mentioned that you were releasing the pond fish. So I was curious what fish you were putting in there. But yeah, so let's see here. I was actually gonna check something. Yeah, okay. But yeah, so that's all I have, unless somebody has any comments, questions, complaints. Thank you, Didi, for sharing the link to the Keystone Clash. If you haven't checked it out yet or haven't registered yet, um, please make sure you do. It is an absolute blast. I always enjoy going to it. Um, so make sure you check it out. It's at the Morgan. It's in Morgantown, PA. It's an all species show, so it's not just freshwater; it's saltwater, semi-aquatics, so amphibians, things like that. Um, an absolute blast. So strongly recommend you guys check it out. Picked up another Shubin for the 300, some platinum rice fish, and 2 fantail goldfish for 100, and 2 fantail goldfish, and a copper colored black moor for a third pond. Ooh, nice. It's really cool. Yeah, when I have the pond, I'm gonna definitely be putting some koi in there. Um, Koi, and then some smaller like schooling fish, or maybe some like mosquito fish, or rainbow shiners or something like that, just to change it up a little bit. I don't know what happened, but I hope I'm back. I think I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, koi, um, rainbow shiners, something like that, just to change it up a little bit. The platinum really shine even at the bottom. Yep, they do. Yeah, platinum rice fish are really sparkly. I do like them. And it's not just the platinum. I think a lot of the Madeca rice fish that are similar to the platinums do, as long as the light shines on them just right, they really do glow. So it is really cool. I had rice fish. Um, I got some rice fish from the previous Keystone Clash. They were uh, the Daisy's rice fish. Yes, that's what they were. They were the Daisy's rice fish, and I got quite a bit of them, but I only have one remaining. Um, so I may or may not get more rice fish. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, platinum rice fish are really cool. Excuse me. I think I'd like to take some of my longfin blue-eyed lemon plecos to the ponds. I think that'd be an interesting idea. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody putting plecos out into their summer tubs or ponds. I mean, if you have like a big pond, I think the plecos would do perfectly fine. But then again, a lot of these plecos also do like fast flowing waters, and so you want to make sure that there's quite a bit of flow in your pond as well for them. Um, but they would still do very well. It would be cool. Be interesting to see if they breed as well and how they do. Got 300-gallon stock tanks. Ah, okay. Yeah, I think they would do well in there. Blue-eyed lemon plecos. Fancy. Plecos are actually one of the species of or the groups of fish that I uh, plan on getting on the website soon. Um, there's actually one species of pleco that I really want, at least for myself, and I can't remember the L number for the life of me. And the wholesaler that I plan on getting plecos from, um, shouldn't even say wholesaler. They breed their own plecos. Um, I just can't remember. They had them available at some point, and so I had the L number, and I don't even remember if I wrote it anywhere, and I can't remember for the life of me. But I think I remember the common name, the common name that it's used, but I'm not entirely sure that it is that pleco that I think it is. But it's the peppermint bristlenose pleco, which is L number um, 181. But then I get confused because apparently there's another pleco that is L 031, which is common name is also being called a peppermint pleco, um, which is why I always reiterate go by the scientific name, not the common name. But I think it is the L181s because I saw a picture of them from this particular breeder, and I absolutely fell in love with them. Uh, yeah, I do know they are an ancestress pleco. Let me show you guys which one I'm talking about. So it's this guy right here. Is that I absolutely love this pleco and would absolutely keep him for myself. Um, but yeah, ancestress species peppermint pleco L number 181. Um, so definitely on the lookout for these guys for sure. Excuse me. Cosmin, they do, from my understanding, but even then, I still think they're cool. um, I do wish they kept that white, bluish white frosty like stripes. I wish they kept them, but from my understanding, I do believe they do lose them. But I still think they look cool, and even if they keep those for a little while, still worth it in my opinion. Um, they just look so cool. But yeah, I do believe they do lose them. That striping. But yeah, definitely want those plecos. Oh my lord. Sorry, it's around my nap time, which is why I'm like yawning like crazy because I haven't really slept much. I haven't been sleeping that well, but excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, DD, it is a very pretty pleco. I do agree. But yeah. Who else is doing summer tubbing this year? And what are you putting in your summer tubs this year? I'm very curious to know. Because it's been pretty iffy where I am here in Jersey, New Jersey, because we've been having some pretty cold days and nights. Um, we've had days go down to like the 50s here. So not really that ideal for summer tubbing, but um, it does look like it's going to start getting more and warmer because we've also had quite a bit of rainfall too, and that's cooled down the temperatures as well. But like today, it's still a little bit chilly. Like it's nice out. I'll put it that way. I might try to get some 5-gallon buckets out for Daphne. I'm in Wilmington. Oh, nice. Wilmington, Delaware. Yeah, I believe, Cosmin, you're close to Scotty too, so I think. Daphne is a good food source, that's for sure. Hello, Professor Maestro Fish and Plant Expert Extraordinaire. Thank you for stopping by. I didn't set up my metal 100-gallon stock tank for fish this year, but I am using it for me. Fill it up with cold water and immerse and chill a bit. Nothing wrong with that, Dee Dee. Dee Dee, are you going to be putting coral in that saltwater tank that you set up? Or are you going to just keep it fish only? Which you can. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have coral. I'm just biased to coral because I love corals. That's what I went to school for. No plans for corals yet, but who knows? Yeah, definitely. Who knows? Well, if you ever decide you want to go for corals, let me know. I am more than happy to help you. But yeah, so so that's all I have. Unless anybody else has anything they want to talk about or ask questions about or anything like that. That's pretty much it. Alshan says 4 tubs, white clouds are out now. 3 tetras will not go out until mid-June. Red cherry, FSL burcon species, red till penguin, Atheria species, and blue diamond, Alistopteris smachelli will be going out. Nice. White clouds have already gone out. Yeah. White clouds. That was another. That's what I was trying to think about. Is white. In the patio ponds and whatnot. Definitely can keep white clouds in there. White cloud minnows. Um, that's cool. How big are the tubs, Alshan? Out of curiosity. 2 20 gallons and 2 35 gallons. Nice. Really nice. Well, good luck with that. Yeah, that's cool. Just looked up the blue diamond tetra. It's pretty. Yeah, they're definitely pretty. Let me pull them up. There's one from Aqua Glacier. When in doubt, use Aqua Glacier's pictures. Yeah, pretty cool looking fish. And apparently the males are the ones that have the shimmering blue at the top. It kind of makes sense, show off to the females, showing when they're showing off breeding behavior. Quite a bit of fish species do that. Just realized I'm not sharing that picture or that screen. Hang on. There we go. There we are. And that's the male, female. Species originates from Nigeria and becomes only 5 to 6 centimeters long. So it is a perfect fish also for owners of comparatively small tanks. Due to the wonderful blue back of the males, which differ from the females also by the long dorsal fin and the completely different formed anal fin, which has a white border, it is called blue diamond in the hobby. Fascinating. Sometimes I like to go onto Aquarium Glasser and just look at stuff. Cool. Alrighty. With that being said, thank you all for stopping by. Um, I need to stop doing that. I don't know what I'm doing that is causing my thing to refresh. But anyway, thank you everybody for stopping by. Like I said, I'm planning on doing um, more live streams. It's right now it's not going to be like every week, but I'm going to try to do my best. Um, but yeah, please, if you like the stream, make sure you hit that like button. For those of you that are watching the replay, apologize that you couldn't make it. Um, I apologize that you couldn't make it, but feel free to hit that like button, share the video, hit the subscribe button, or hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos or notifications or anything like that. And with that being said, make sure you do your water changes, and I'll see you next time. Take care.